Good morning. Welcome to church. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Thank you so much for being with me. And good morning, everybody here. Good morning. Everybody full of turkey? No? No? No, I didn't eat any turkey. You didn't have turkey? No. Oh, amazing. First, I want to say happy Thanksgiving again to everybody. And from all of us at Bond and at the church and from the TV show, the radio show, we all appreciate you very much. And all the people who have been, helping to donate and sponsor Bond for the last 27 years, we greatly appreciate it. And I hope you have a safe trip if you're traveling. Watch your backs because of the radical Islam folks are out there. And they love these kind of holidays, especially when there are crowds around. So be careful out there as well, all right? It's not the same America that it was 50 years ago. 30 years ago. So be careful out there, all right? Brenda, did you know that Ed is really smart?
Yes.
You knew?
Yes, I did know that.
He has been coming and talking to the guys at our Entrepreneur Academy, yes. And he's really good.
Awesome.
Yeah, very, very good. So you got yourself a good one. I'm
glad you recognize that in him.
Yeah, no, he's very smart and funny.
Sometimes.
Very funny. But he's really, really good at helping the guys. So.
Good. I'm glad.
Let's see here. Anybody have anything you need to ask me or bring up before I get rolling? 1, 2, 3. No. Okay. First, I want to say that our battle, as I've said over and over again, is a spiritual battle. It's a warfare between good and evil. It's not physical at all. It's spiritual at all times. And a friend of mine over this weekend, the holiday weekend, on Thursday, as a matter of fact, Thanksgiving Day, a friend of mine's son jumped off a bridge and killed himself. And he was 41 years old. And so I was thinking about this boy. I've known him since he was a kid, And so when I talked to the father, he said, I've lost another son. And so I was thinking about, wow, why didn't this boy overcome his issues in life and learn how to deal with life in the right way? And I realized one day is that it's because it's a spiritual battle and we cannot overcome our own issues. There is this notion out there that we can overcome our own issues, and we absolutely cannot. Even when, since I've been in California, especially within the last 30 years, I guess, 27 to 30 years, I've seen people stand up in different churches. I remember the first church I remember people standing up in different churches and talking about their sins. It's like, I'm an alcoholic, or I'm a drug addict, or I'm a whatever, and they stand up and testify as to what's going on in their lives. And I'm coming to realize, or started to realize, that they think by getting up and testifying that that's going to help them to overcome, and it won't. It will not. It just makes you feel good. And also to hear, it encourages them to make them think that they will overcome as well. But you're not going to overcome just by talking about your problem or standing up and confessing them. It doesn't help. It's like when men and women go to prison for committing crimes and they're like stunned that they're going to prison. They can't believe that they're going to prison, right? And they're thinking, we're thinking, once they go to prison, they will never do this again. Because who want to go to prison? And they'll stay there for 40 years, they'll get out and commit the same crime again. It's like when you're caught with something, you're shocked that you're caught, and you say to yourself, I'll never do it again, and you end up doing it again. And so, a lot of people think that you overcome that way, and you don't. You'd be surprised at the number of people, most, probably all, people do not overcome that way. And they may stop doing one thing but end up doing another one. And so I'm thinking about this guy that committed suicide by jumping off a bridge. Can you imagine jumping off a bridge and killing yourself on Thanksgiving Day? You're not supposed to kill yourself on holidays. Yeah. A lot of people say, what, James?
That's when they do it.
On holidays? And why?
Because that's when I guess they have time off from work maybe, but the depression tends to set in too.
Oh.
The loneliness or whatever.
Well, then we shouldn't let people off work then. It's all that.
Get around their families.
They what?
They get around their families, and they have these expectations that their family life is supposed to be so picturesque, and when it's not,
Right.
it makes them depressed, and they say, I don't fit in, I don't measure up,
Oh.
and they get all depressed and they kill themselves. It's
But shouldn't they be
very
thinking,
well known.
Shouldn't they think, well, if I do it right now, everybody's going to be unhappy. Let me at least wait until after New Year's.
They're selfish.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's total selfishness. I went to a family reunion in Indiana. The last family reunion we had was in Indiana, I think. And one of my cousins killed himself while we were at family reunion. Rather than coming and hanging out with everybody, he's at home killing himself. Yeah. And the good thing about it, though, everybody was already there for the funeral. So you didn't have to, travel back and forth. And he was in his 20s, I think, a young guy. And so I'm thinking about this guy, and I'm thinking, wow, what could have happened? I realized, number one, he never forgave his father. And he truly, truly hated his father. And, over the years, we've been telling him, you got to forgive. The father even apologized as, admitted he didn't realize what he was doing, and I'm sorry about it. And yet he refused to forgive his father. Then he ended up becoming mental, because all angry people, if you hold on to anger, you become mentally ill after a while. Reality is no longer reality for you. You live in an illusion. And so he became that way. And he ended up, his father telling me that he had been taking those psychotropic medications for years that the doctor had been giving him. And so he's been on that for a long time, right? And so he started hearing voices, he started seeing things, and now he's taking this stuff. And if he ever is not taking them, then reality is hard to bear. And so apparently he was off for a few minutes. And so it was hard for him to deal with reality. And they're thinking that's what made him jump off the bridge, because he ran out of medication. And so, knowing him, I realized that at some point when you're a really, really unforgiving person and you're filled with anger, you become like a walking corpse. You no longer have the spirit of life in you anymore. You no longer have the teacher in you enhancing your life. And you're walking around with your eyes wide open, but you're really dead. Another spirit has made a home in you, and it's just, the physical look like you, even though you can tell something's wrong, but you become a walking corpse until you finally die, lay down and die. Because the Holy Spirit is not going to hang around for too long with angry people. That spirit of anger is too wicked in order for it to hang there and deal with that. And this young man became like that. He was just out of his mind, or a dead man walking kind of a thing. And if you don't get over that anger, that's what ends up happening. And then you go to the doctors, they give you medication. And the medication just keep you in a state of denial, preventing you from facing reality so that you can overcome. And this guy could have been one of the nicest guys. I remember when he was very young, bright nature, just really had a good personality. But as he got older and that spirit grew on the inside of him, he just became dark and dark and dark. And so I realized, wow, that's what it is. You can't get over your own problems. Just think in your own personal life, how long you've been trying to get over issues in your life. and you've gone to different churches, you went to Alcoholics Anonymous, and you said your name, you had someone that watched over you, but you still didn't overcome it. And the reason you didn't, because it's a spirit that's made a home. Another identity make a home in you, and it controls you. And people don't realize that. Isn't that amazing? But there is a way to overcome it. It really is. But you have to be willing, and I'm going to tell you what that way is, but you have to be willing to endure. A lot of people think just because they wake up, they can see that everything, no more enduring, no more going through stuff. But you still have to relax through life and just let life happen. You become a living being and just let life happen instead of fighting against it. I think about over the last 27 years, the number of people that I have counseled with and worked with and met over the years, it's been difficult for them to overcome because they don't really do the right thing that causes them to overcome. And they think what they're trying to overcome is sex, drugs, lying, stealing, adultery. They think those are the things that they're trying to overcome. Those are not the things that you're trying to overcome. We've been taught so wrong, and that's why a lot of people don't get better in life. They don't get better because we've not been taught how to really overcome. And if you truly believe in God and He is your Father, you have to overcome. You can't help but overcome. And so it's unfortunate for this young guy, but he just had a miserable life for a long time. And I know a lot of people like that. So, and imagine that this happened on Thanksgiving Day. And, you wake up, you expected to meet with the family. His mother told me that he had visited them the night before Thanksgiving, and that he was real friendly. He looked like he was fine. He was telling everybody how much he loved them and how much he appreciated them, and then the next day he jumped off the bridge. Amazing. But there is a way to be free, all right? Yes, James?
Angelia is asking online, what do you tell boys like him who have anger toward their dads like that? Normally, you say the kids really resent their mothers for turning them against their fathers.
You tell them the same thing you tell anyone. If they resent their mothers, you have to forgive. The mother couldn't help themselves. If they resent their father, the same thing. You have to forgive them. As a matter of fact, with this particular boy, I counseled with him and his family several times, especially with the father. But the boy was unwilling to forgive for whatever reason. Now, I'm thinking maybe it got too deep into it, where that spirit, he just didn't know how to overcome that spirit. But you tell him the same thing. You forgive so that God can forgive you and take that spirit away from you. It is so simple, and life is nothing like what we've been taught. That's why you have to go back to being a child and live life in the way that a child lives life. But you can't fake that either. It has to happen naturally. Because I don't want you running out trying to act like a child. Like, well, what's wrong with you? I'm acting like a child. Not like that. It has to happen to you. And it can happen. But you have to understand how to do it. But you tell them the same thing you tell about forgiving their mothers or anyone, themselves. You have to realize by getting to know yourself, I have that question for you. You have to get to know yourself. The first step to overcome it is that you have to get to know yourself. And I've told you what self-knowledge is, right? You remember? Anybody remember me telling you that? You remember me telling you that? Okay. You don't remember, Joya? You have heard me say what self-knowledge is, right? Do you know yourself?
Yeah, but I remember. Getting to know.
What?
Getting to know myself.
And what are you learning?
That sometimes I don't know much.
Sometimes you don't know much? Oh, good. That's the best way to do. the person that don't know much, whether it's a male or female, it's easier for them to enter into the kingdom than the intellectual person. It really is. Because like you're like an empty glass. You're learning. You're discovering along the way, so you're fortunate. Brenda, do you know yourself? The beginning of overcoming is just to know yourself. Do you know yourself?
Somewhat. I think it's a constant process.
It's what?
A constant process.
And when you say somewhat, what do you know about yourself?
I know that I know that I'm loving and loyal and careful. I have certain characteristics that I can talk about myself, but I'm also fallible and weak, and I depend on my faith in God to guide me in the things that I do.
Yeah. And is that working?
Yes.
It is working? Mm-hmm. How about you, Ed? You know yourself?
All I know is that by trying to figure out who I am, there's not much there. That's basically the story. I mean, there is.
How would you define self-knowledge?
Well, you can. I don't know, but I do know this, that every time I think of a characteristic of mine that is like this is how I am, it's usually a trick. I'm smart. Well, okay, maybe, but I've done some really dumb things.
Yeah.
I'm patient, and then I yell at somebody. I'm not patient, then I'm nice to somebody. I mean, it's really crazy, right? And the more you see that, the more you start seeing the contradictions in your own personality, the more you start thinking, this all came from some other place.
Right.
That there's no real me.
Yeah.
It starts to feel that way. And then you go, all right, now what? Right? And then you say, I think I'll go to the beach. So it's kind of hard to handle that.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm at.
Oh, okay.
So
How about you? Do you know yourself? Let's do the blue right there by you. Esteban, go back right there. You know yourself?
No.
You do not know yourself. And why not?
Because, okay, I'm going to cry. Because I think, sometimes I look in the mirror and I don't think it's me. It's like, who is this person? And I think, is everything I have, is it what I wanted, or is it what I thought I should have, or what was it?
Yeah.
How people thought I should be?
Yeah.
And I look in the mirror, I look at the person in the mirror, I'm like, who is that person? I don't know. But through the process, it's been ups and downs, because I find too that, doing the meditation or the prayer has helped me at work. I don't resent my coworker anymore. The relationship is so much better, and I thought I could never get over that. But I let her be herself, and I kind of jump in, even though sometimes I don't know everything, but I'm more open to do that. And then sometimes on the downside, it's like I still do stupid stuff or do stuff I think is wrong or whatever. I try not to judge myself. But yeah, right now I don't know what I really like. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I really what do I like? I mean, I know I like things that maybe people thought I should like, or be the way people thought I should be. But is that really me? I don't know.
Amazing. And it's miserable living that way, huh?
It is, because I was thinking too, like, anytime I would go any place with my mom or whatever, I was always, when I was taking her places, even though it was simple, or I did notice this, when I go out, I'm very anxious, like very, like when I'm driving, is something going to happen? I'm never just kind of relaxed,
Yeah.
just there, just being. And I did notice that. But good things are coming too. This weekend for Thanksgiving, I went to see my family, and I'm really not a family orientated person.
Right.
But I went to see them. I didn't have a car, so I had to wait on people to take, like I had to just kind of be where I was at.
And so were you comfortable around them?
Yes and no. It was different. I don't know if I was comfortable or not. It was
Yeah.
different. I was glad I went
Yeah.
because I got to know them.
And so was this like brothers and sisters?
Brothers and
cousins
sisters and a lot of nieces and nephews.
Oh, okay.
And love the little nieces and nephews. Oh, gorgeous children.
Yeah.
Gorgeous children. And
Wait till you go
couples-
back in 10 years.
I know. I hope
You're
they're
gonna be like,
okay.
oh, you're the same person. That was
But
so
you-
sweet.
But you know, I could
5 years ago.
No, I could tell the difference between the ones that were raised with the mom and dad
Yeah.
and
there
the
is a
ones that are
difference.
raised by the single. You could night and day.
Yeah, that's
Night and
right.
day. So it's good.
Yeah, well, good. How about you? Do you know yourself?
Oh, thank you. Actually, as they were talking, I began to think, actually, I do not, not completely.
Yeah.
There are some things that I know I'll do, some things that I think, there are my principles and what I will or won't do in certain areas. But there is something, I do not know how to step over to that part of
Yes.
consciousness into the supernatural where all things are possible and, where, love is constant. So actually the answer is no. I do not know myself because there's, like I have only tapped into what I can see, hear, touch, and feel. There's
Yeah.
another part of all human beings, that most of us don't even know about it,
Yes.
but let alone know how to get there.
It's so interesting in that there are two realities. One that you live in where you have anger, which is an illusion of everything. None of it is real. If you have one iota, little top bit of anger, you're not living in reality. You're living in an altered reality. And it's so weird to be doing that. I'm like, wow, that's so amazing we can live in two different realities. And then there's another real reality that we should be living in. And most people never get there. But this other altered reality is painful, it's emotional, it has doubt and fear, it's uncertain, it judges yourself and other people. But so many people are holding on to that as though it's real. I was talking to another friend, and he was like, it's so amazing how Satan can convince your mind that a lie is real. That this false life we're living is real. No matter how the suffering is and everything, you still think it's real. And it's literally not real. Even the way you see yourself is not real. That's a lie too. And it's all set up to destroy you. There's two ways of living. There's a real way and a false way. And Satan is always trying to convince us to take this false way and make it work, make up excuses if it doesn't work. Well, why isn't it working? Well, I just didn't want to right then. Or something. He'll make you just make up excuses. And I'm thinking about all the things that we now, well, I don't believe it, but those who have not overcome or not overcoming, the things that you're made to believe. And then if you know it's not real, you're afraid to speak up about it. For an example, I was thinking about the transgender thing. Now we all know, everybody knows that ain't real. If a man switched body parts or a woman switched body parts, we know that's not real, right? But then some people just act like it's real. Just pretend that it is real. And then if you know it's not real, you're afraid to speak up about it. You go along with it as though it is real. Because you don't want to lose a job. Which I understand. You don't want to do this. We're living, you're never going to be happy living this way. And it's unfortunate because Christ came that we may have peace right here on earth. Paradise right here. Mary, do you know yourself? No. You do not know yourself.
I do not, because I've so much vacillation when you should do something, but then you don't. So if I knew myself, I would be able to follow through with things, but no.
And what is it like not knowing yourself?
Well, now it's not bad because I already have come to see that that's just the way it is, and
Right.
I can't fix it, but I can witness it and just be loosey-goosey about it. And
Yeah.
so therefore, it's not like as hurtful as it once was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, things like, what people are expecting of you, and you already know you don't want to do that, but you just like do it because what are people going to say? And so now I just don't do it. And they can say what they want. And it's not that I'm looking for them to say something. I'm looking to let go of trying to please people.
That's right. Well, the one thing that's going to happen immediately when you really get to know yourself, the number one thing that's going to happen right away, you're not going to care what others think about you. That's going to end.
Yeah.
You're not going to try to live up to another person's standards or anything. You're not going to try to please them. You're just going to do what's right because you'll be able to see what's right. And then doing what's right, you're also willing to stand alone.
Yeah.
All those things will start to change.
Yeah, and that's where the happiness comes.
Yes.
Because you're not.
And just think about that. That's a horrible way to live, trying to please someone else.
Yeah.
And they're never satisfied.
Never.
No matter if it's a friend or a family member, the dog, the cat, you can't even satisfy the dog because he always wants something else.
Oh, right. Push, push, push. You're like,
The more you try to please the dog, the more they try to manipulate you.
which is what they're supposed to do. So, and that's what
Right.
I guess people are supposed to do the same thing too, because they're not whole, and when they're not whole, they have nothing to offer. But
Yeah.
but I guess they have nothing to offer, but they're trying to get something,
Yeah.
and we don't have it to give them. So, well, then both of us are bad.
Have you ever asked God to allow you to see yourself?
Well, I don't know that I have directly.
Then
but
why not?
Well, I don't know. Am I supposed to just say, God, could I see myself?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's
well,
always going to happen. I remember 28 years ago, 29 years ago, I was just fed up. I was going to, at the time I was going to Crenshaw Christian Center. I was paying my tithe and offering. When my income tax would come, I would give 10% of that. I would read the Bible and pray in other tongues, and nothing was getting better. I was still insecure and had doubt and trying to go along to get along. And then finally I asked God, you know what, I don't really know myself. Let me see myself. And that's when he revealed myself to me, and everything started to change. And it was nothing what I thought. Nothing what I thought. Have you ever asked God to let you see yourself? Uh-huh.
I just now did it when I heard you say
You just
yes.
did it right now?
I just did it, yes. But before, no.
And why not?
I guess I never thought about it. I would ask, please, to reveal to me my purpose of why I'm here.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I would ask him to reveal to me the purpose of why I'm here on earth.
Don't ask God that anymore. Do not ask God to reveal your purpose for why you're here on earth. That's just Oprah talk.
Oprah.
The beauty about knowing yourself, your gift will find you. It's just hanging right now in the balance, waiting for you to get to see yourself. It's going to be there. It'll find you. It's already waiting for you. It's already there. And the issue is not not knowing your gift. The issue is that you have not returned to the Father. You don't know yourself. It's not about, and a lot of people say, well, my problem is I don't know my purpose. I don't know my gift. That's not the problem. Because if you had your gift, you're still going to have the same problems. But you're not going to see your true gift until you overcome and return to the Father.
Overcome the anger within you? Is it-
Well, until you forgive, so you can be drawn into the kingdom of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Then everything is there. You can see what you need to see. It's hanging there. It's just right. It's right here. It really is not lost. It's just you can't see it due to your anger. But your purpose is right here. Right? It follows you around. It laughs at you when you do stupid stuff, thinking you're doing your gifts. I hear people say, "Oh, I want to get better so I can help people." That's a dumb saying too. That you used to do that? Yeah, because you're like in a fallen state and you're emotional and you think you want to help people. Nobody wants your help. It's just a feel-good thing. Have you asked God to, so don't ask for your gift anymore. He said in the scriptures, your purpose or your gift will find you. But just think about God. He's the Father. Everything is already set up. It's like a parent, your mother preparing a meal for you, and you never go in the kitchen to get it, so you think that she hasn't done anything. You're just waiting to be told or something, you know? Yes.
Mhm. So the prayer is to ask God to let you see yourself.
Yes.
Okay. Simple enough to me.
Yeah. Very basic. That's when I started to change, when I finally asked to let me see myself. Have you asked God to let you see yourself?
No, no.
I'm surprised you guys haven't as much as I've said it.
I know, but
Well, y'all don't pay attention.
we can't hear.
Right.
It's thick. But anyway, no. What I say is that I want to put him first. Let me forsake everything and put him first.
That ain't gonna work.
Okay, that's fine. I mean,
Right.
that's fine. Yeah.
You want to go back. You want to find you. You know. You want to.
Yeah.
You want to know yourself. I'm telling
Yes.
you, because then you can start waking up.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
All right. But I understand why you do that, because I did all that too, because that's what I was taught. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't work. Yes.
Yeah, I was taught to want to know, to ask God to know myself, but and I made that mistake of asking, and I couldn't handle what I saw.
And why
so,
not?
I don't know. I just couldn't handle it. It was just too close to home, I guess. You know, the corruption and what I saw about myself. There was nothing good, and that freaked me out.
Really?
Yeah, for a long time.
When I saw me, I was like, wow, that's what I look like. That's amazing. I didn't know I looked like that. I didn't know that was going on within me.
You may
So
have
I
seen
was,
with
like,
different
happy to see
eyes.
it.
I was just still seeing, I guess, with my ego eyes, but you may have been seeing with different eyes. But when I saw myself, I related to that, you know, what I saw, and couldn't get out of it that way.
I've heard people say that before,
Yeah.
and I don't understand why they would feel that way. If you ask God to let you see, and He'll let you see, I would think you'd be amazed to discover what's really going on.
I didn't know what I was asking for.
So now what's going to happen?
Oh, well, I'm getting a little more relaxed about it now.
You going to
So,
ask Him again?
No, I've changed it to let me handle what I see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's just a personal thing.
Yes, Ed.
It was a different topic.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things you said is when you see yourself, you don't care what other people think.
Right.
So I had noticed when I am, let me back up a step. It's always interesting to me to try to apply some of the things I learned here in the world of business. That's what I do. And I've noticed that when I'm successful, I don't care what other people think. But guess what? Guess what makes me successful?
What?
Caring what other people think.
Yeah.
So in this world, you get glimpses of what it could be like when you're doing things right, and yet it still grabs you and pulls you down and right into the mud again.
Yeah.
But I don't care what some people think of me, but I really care of what other people think of me, the ones that are making me successful. It's kind of interesting. So
I totally understand.
you get a
that too.
piece of that.
But once you really get to know you, everything, all that's going to fade away.
All of it does, yeah.
Because you can't be of the kingdom of heaven and of the world. You love one and hate the other. You can't be of both. So once you get to know you, you're going to automatically die from caring about the world. It doesn't mean you won't go to work and be successful in life, but you'll have a different relationship with it. You can take it or leave it. It won't bother you at all. It would not. You know, God said, seek first the kingdom of God and His right way and all be added. That would become number one. And as you're doing that, life is happening for you. You look around one day and you're like, wow, this is amazing. Where did this come from? Again, I was talking to a friend of mine who knows me very well, And he was telling me, it's amazing what you've done in life. And so he started naming off all these things. I'm like, wow, that is amazing. Where did it come from? And it came from the invisible world. It's there already, but because you're blinded by anger, you don't know it's already there. And so the invisible is not visible to you. But once you let the anger go, then it becomes visible. Isn't that something?
It is.
And
It is.
just think about that. There is another reality. There's another world. There's another way of living right at hand, and the average person never find it until they're going through that light. You know, once you die, they say you go through a light. I think you see your whole life flash before you or something. That's when they see it. Isn't that something? Esteban, you know yourself? I think I saw your hair, right, Mark? Okay.
A little bit.
Oh, Lord. I'm scared to ask. What do you know of yourself?
I noticed I used to blame people for if I was angry or sad or whatever, or if I failed to do something like get a job or do my homework or whatever.
Yeah.
I used to blame other people, and then I realized that it was all me,
Right. How would you define self-knowledge?
Self-knowledge. I don't know.
Okay. How would you define self-knowledge? Do you know yourself?
Yes.
And what do you know about yourself?
I'd rather not disclose between me and God.
Oh, Lord.
Aye, aye, aye. But I'll answer your self-knowledge question.
What is self-knowledge?
You're looking at yourself honestly, without ego and without coloring, and just not being afraid of if something ugly pops up.
So now that I told you, don't be telling your business.
Now I got it. But you see, you only got to tell me once, Jesse. See that?
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Mark.
I think there's a big difference between thinking about what people think about you and doing a good job. And again, a great example is you on the radio. I've heard people call you literally every name on the radio.
And then some.
Yeah. I mean, threaten
And
you.
beforehand, I never would have been able to take that.
And that's what I'm saying. There's no possible way
Yeah.
that you cared what they thought about you,
Yeah.
no matter what they were saying at the moment. But at the same time, it wasn't like a passive, you don't care about your job. Like you
Right.
take your job extremely seriously,
Yeah.
but it's a work ethic thing. It's I want to do my best thing. And you're like and you do an extremely good job. But at the same exact time, you couldn't care less about what people think about you. And I know that for sure.
And I wasn't always like that. I was very emotional, weak, girly kind of a person. I was like my mother, my grandmother. I cared about what people think, at least my mother. But that was taken away. And now when they attack me, it's as though it never happened. You just hear words coming from these people, but it doesn't go inside your mind or your body at all. And
Yeah,
it's
and
so sweet to live that way.
And it's so sweet to have 3 hours a day, Monday through Friday, to be able to just tap into that and hear
Yeah.
that. And that
Yeah.
is something I cherish more than anything.
I can't ask you. You say you remember what I told you about self-knowledge, right?
I know what you would want to,
Okay,
your answer to
hold
that,
that.
yes.
Well, yes, did you have your hand, Joel?
I was just saying that when you, because you always say, ask God to reveal it to you, and then He'll reveal it to you. Because I heard you say it so many times, I was like, okay, well, let me try it and see what happens. And He didn't reveal nothing yet, and I don't know if it's because I don't know if it's because I'm not ready to see it, or I wasn't fed up, like in your situation where I was like, I really want to see myself, but it just
But
hadn't
it's not
happened.
true that God hasn't revealed things to you.
But yeah, it wasn't like I didn't see the full thing, how you explained in your situation, to where it's like, oh, okay, I'm ready now
But
type thing.
what He's allowing you to see, just be patient with that. Maybe if He showed you your real self, you may do what the Bible go-to guy did,
Yeah.
like reject it.
Yeah.
So maybe you're not ready for that. But He is showing you. He's bringing you to that. He's preparing you.
So it's not always gonna be like I just see how my, like in your situation.
Yeah,
It's-
it's not. It might not be like my situation went down.
Well, you just seen everything.
Right.
But I want to see everything.
But be patient. You can't handle seeing everything.
That's right too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We have to mature into it.
Okay.
Because once you start, the more you see, it's so interesting. It really is very, and it's amazing too because you be seeing without realizing you're seeing, but you're just seeing it. And it's like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I see I see little things, but I just never seen the full thing, and my mind was made up that I'm ready to change. It hasn't.
Right. Well,
but
relax.
I see little things.
Yeah, just go for the ride. Yes, James.
Mikey is saying to know thyself really means to recognize my faults and evil inclinations, and that I need God's help to correct it, right?
No. But doesn't that sound good? I used to hear that all the time, so I know it. It's not a put down, buddy. I know exactly what you're talking about. But and if I didn't know a difference now, I'd be thinking, wow, yeah, that's it. Because it sounds so good. Does it sound good? No. James, you know what stuff? Now, Frank, you paying your bills again in church? He paying his bills again?
Yes.
He just like his mother. He come to church and pay his bills. Why church going on? James, were you the one telling me about him doing that?
Yeah.
When did you tell me about him doing that?
I said, hey, it's like he's paying his bills in church.
His mother comes, she have all these bags. He just, anyway, go ahead.
You want me to answer the question, but I know it like he does, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Mark, what is it? Self-knowledge, because I want to move on to this. This is so good. I want you to listen, and I want you to listen and take it in. And if you can do this, the kingdom of heaven is yours.
It's a state of non-judgmental attention.
Did y'all hear him? A little louder, a little slower, and a little...
A state of non-judgmental attention.
Right. One of the problems that this young man had, a major problem that he had, not only did he hate his father, he hated himself too. He was not able to see himself and not have an opinion about it. You have to be able to see what's going on, see you, and not have any opinion about it at all. Don't call it good, don't call it bad. You have to relax and go through it. That's the only way you're going to change. And that's why God said, seek first the kingdom of God in his right way, and everything will be added, because he is the only one who can change it. It's a spirit. It's a spiritual issue. It's a spirit. We are a spirit, and there's nothing we can do about it. So it doesn't matter how rotten you see yourself, how whatever. You got to relax and take it. And can you imagine seeing that you're no good? Because in reality, in all reality, we as human beings are no good. We're a bunch of mess. We're really no good, but in our fallen state, we think we are somebody. I am somebody. I'm Malcolm X. But we're no good. And when you really see yourself, you're going to see you're no good. And it's going to cause you to appreciate God's grace and mercy for you. Because only his love can bring us to what we really are. Isn't that amazing? So you got to see that you're wrong, whatever's being revealed to you. And no matter how painful it is, it's only the ego hurting. And like what you were saying about the ego, you got to relax in it and take the ego pain. But don't have any opinion about it at all. And once you can do that with yourself, you would never have another opinion about your fellow man, because you would see what they're going through. And you won't hold it against them, because you now see what you're going through. But you got to be able, self-knowledge is a state of non-judgmental attention. And don't even ask why. I was telling a friend, we were talking to some friends last night, and one of the guys said, well, it looks like you're supposed to be able to ask why. No. Who are you that you should not go through this? Why? What? Relax and go through it. You got to let go and just let it happen. Yes, Joel.
I was just gonna say, it's a good point, because if you look at yourself and you see the good things that you're doing or that you've done, it builds you up. And then as soon as you realize something you don't like or whatever the case is, it tears you back down. But even vice versa.
Yeah.
So if you don't have an opinion about it, then you stay neutral.
No opinion at all. And then you just become a living being and you just live your life without any opinion at all. That makes sense, Brenda? Do you think you can do that?
Yes.
And so why you think you can do it?
Because I've already been working on that in some ways. And so I've seen what happens when you do it, when you let go of the judgment and you let go of the disappointment in yourself or somebody else, and you say, who am I to be disappointed? They are who they are. They're doing what they're choosing to do.
But they're not even choosing to do it. And that's what I want you to know too. Once you get to know yourself, you're going to see you're not making choices about anything that you're doing. And it will help you to know that the other person is not doing it either. You will see how nutty it is, it's
Right.
crazy, but you won't have an opinion about it.
Right. And so you just love them and see that they are who they are.
Yes.
But you stop trying to guide it or manipulate it or
Yes.
give them good advice or whatever. You just let it go.
Yes.
And so,
But it has to start with you. Once you
Yes.
do that, but just think about this. Can you imagine living a life without an opinion about anything? How does a human being live that way?
right.
We can only do it with the light of God in us. Because now we're being guided by the light and not by the darkness. The darkness always has an opinion about something. Like what Joel was saying. Oh, I did good, so now I feel good. No, I did bad, and so now I'm feeling bad. That's the ego life. And that's the darkness that guided you. But the light guided you, you have no opinion at all. You just look and you think, wow, that's amazing. And then people say crazy things, you're like, wow, that's interesting. And you learn, you just kind of watching how the devil is operating and how deceived we can be as human beings if we stay in that fallen state. And so that's why God said, seek him first, because only seeking him through prayer, read a little scriptures, but spend time to yourself. There's nothing like spending time alone so you can experience reality. And then these things, he'll be taking it, he'll bring you back home and change your nature as you allow him to do it. You cannot do it of your own, but you've got to be seeking him first. And most people are not truly seeking God first. They say they do, and they pretend for a while, but they're really not doing that. Are you doing it, Brenda?
Not all the time, no.
And why not? I appreciate your honesty, but you got to start doing it. What gets in the way to prevent you from seeking him first all the time?
It's just the everyday crap you have to do, that exercise and eating and shopping and cooking, and before you know it, you just realize you've sort of veered off the road again.
Yeah. And none of those things are important. Ed can wait to eat. Or tell him to buy a sandwich on the way. But why not just wake up early enough in the morning to have that prayer time, and then, before bed, maybe read a scripture a little bit, and have a little quiet time and go to bed. Why not put that first?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not going to change completely until you do that. Only God can change us, because it's all spirits all the time. But you got to put him first.
Okay.
And the way you put him first, it's not like a big issue either. Just do it, that's all. Just do it. Have that time alone, being aware, read a little scriptures or something. Just, pick up the Bible, read a few and put it down. Be aware during the day. Be honest with yourself. That's what seeking the kingdom is. It's not like this hooping and hollering. Today on the TV, James and I were watching this gospel program on BET or something, and the black choir was up there singing and dancing. They were like dancing and, I mean, just partying down. I was like, James, you like that? No, I don't like that. It was a huge choir too. They had a row, they was, same color outfits, and they were partying like at a club on gospel music. He's like, you people like that. I don't like that. You know what you said? Am I lying on you?
No.
And I'm looking at this, I'm saying, well, I used to like that. That used to be so much fun to be singing gospel music and carrying on. And in your mind, you think you know God. You convince yourself, or Satan convinces you, that the shouting and dancing is about God. And it has nothing to do with him at all. He's anything but that. But they were carrying on the stage. So Brenda, can I do anything more than what I'm telling you? And you're not the only one. I can go around the room. To encourage you to do that, because if you do it, life will automatically change.
No, I'll take it. I'll do it.
What prevents you, Ed? And look, I'm telling you, people, it will change, and there's another reality to live by. I'm telling you, and it's nice.
So I tell you what I don't like about doing that all the time is the feeling of weakness that comes from it. You want to be in charge, and it feels powerful to be angry. It feels good. You feel strong. You're angry. You're telling people what to do.
Amazing.
Calling somebody an idiot. Said, look, you idiot. You're supposed to do it this way. All of a sudden you feel strong. Guess what? You just got suckered into calling him an idiot, but you don't even know that. Right? So it feels good not to do that. That's why I don't.
Oh. Well, then suffer and die.
Well, yeah, right, exactly.
Do you have life insurance?
And after
Brenda, make sure you keep up with the life insurance. You want a cheap box to put him in.
But no,
and we'll have a quick service here and talk about how wonderful he was.
Ed was smart and funny. So, but I mean, seriously,
that's amazing.
But that's what it is. It's that feeling of wanting to be in charge of, in charge of the world, in charge of your business, whatever. You want to be right. That's the other one. I want to be right. So you want to have an opinion about yourself.
Right.
And so those are the things that get in the way. Now I see it, I understand it, and afterwards I go, oh, there you go, you got snookered again. However, I do find myself doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate because there's a better you than that you.
Well,
believe me.
Yeah.
And it will get more done. It will have peace. It will be more insightful. The wisdom of God is amazing.
So
the insight is absolutely amazing.
You said something interesting. It'll get more done. And
yeah.
One of the things I noticed is when you also have used a phrase, just do what's in front of you to do.
Yes.
But if all of a sudden you got this pile of papers and you're going, I got to get this happen. People are making me do this. Look at this pile of papers. You think you're going to get through it a lot faster. You're not. Yeah. In fact, you won't even do it. You just get fed up and go have a beer. It's funny how that happens. Whereas when you can just neutralize that evil spirit that wants you to be in charge and full of ego and all that, if you can neutralize that, all of a sudden, guess what happens? In 15 minutes, you get your project done.
Yeah.
It's really funny to watch.
That's right.
And I've noticed that in myself.
And so what do you imagine that having a relationship with God is like? Do you have an imagined idea?
I have, in the past, found an ability to persevere when I really felt I couldn't. And in those moments, I do feel that. I do feel that it's like my brain playing games with me that is keeping me from enjoying what I'm going through.
Yeah.
Right? So I do see that. That does happen.
Amazing.
I don't know totally, though.
Baba, go to God. Do you have an imagined idea what it's like to what God is like and what it's like to have a relationship with Him?
Well, I have a memory of what it's like. I've had it happen to me before,
And what's your memory?
where I wasn't having to choose what thought to speak, what thought to act on, and I was just, I was like in a little bit higher consciousness where I was actually just flowing. This stuff was just coming out of my mouth without me predetermining what I was going to say, you know, and there was joy and peace, and
How did you lose it?
I don't know. You know,
How
first of
old
all,
were you when you lost
I
it?
think I was like Peter. You know, we started walking on the water, and then he looked around and like, this ain't gonna last. And you know, yeah, that thought came to me, and I guess I fell for it.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Were you an adult?
yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Now, I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, and I don't want anything to happen, but I can't imagine losing what he's done, you know, my relationship with him now. I don't, the idea of going back to the fallen state, it made me nervous.
Yeah, you should be.
I can't imagine going back to that. Going back to that, you probably have to kill yourself. Because I can't imagine going back to that kind of torment. It's torment to live with doubt and uncertainty and fear and emotions and worry and wondering what other people think and trying to people please. And
You know what the torment?
it's like, and then not having inner peace.
You know what the
Who
torment?
want that?
The torment for me is being tormented to have to let those thoughts pass by. You know, when I let them pass, it feels a little painful. You know,
But why would it feel painful? Because when you're free from the
not
imagination.
after they've passed, but while it's happening. You know, that there's a little bit of a few moments where you're just not going to voice those words. You're not going to do that action.
But stop listening
and it
to
just
the devil.
Feels a little. Yeah,
When that's happening, he's still talking to you. Don't
he
pay him
is.
any attention.
He is all the time.
Oh, the devil is busy too.
Yeah,
So don't listen to him.
yeah, I'm doing that
All right. Yeah, you had your
a
hand.
little better.
It's amazing this time is up.
I did. Sorry, but the thought passed. It's just basically the same concept. You know, Oh, I know what it was. In my own life, I wasn't taught that God had the answers. I was taught that working hard had the answers.
Yeah.
And so therefore, my
Amazing.
God was often just working hard.
Yeah.
I'd rather work hard than goof off, because that's being virtuous, it's being good, you know. And
That
so
makes
there's,
sense, man.
There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
And so the other part is that when you're successful, you want to go back to that, whatever it was that made you successful. And guess what? It gets taken away.
Yeah.
And you go back to it, and it doesn't look the same. You know, you're going back home. Wait a minute, it's not what it looked like when I left.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But
That
I
is
think,
so interesting.
I think back to my parents, right? And I was carefully raised to, you know, make sure that you got the right education and do the right thing and get the right job. And
Yeah.
the worst advice I ever got from my dad was get a degree so you can dig a straight ditch. Guess what? You dig straight ditches. That's about all you do. So you have to.
I've noticed that in the white world. The education is the thing.
Is the
Working
thing.
hard at education is not salvation.
No.
You just have a lot of money, be working hard, but still be tormented within.
And the torment is interesting. When I said before that you can not care what some people think,
Yeah.
but you care desperately what others think.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be a successful chairman of whatever, the
Right.
board of name any company, open the Wall Street Journal, page 1. And that guy is scared to death of things not going his way, of doing something wrong. He is scared. He lives a life of fear.
Yeah.
And, but the interesting thing is that the game that you play with yourself then is to get paid a lot to live that ugly life.
Yeah.
And you therefore think you balance the scales.
One thing I notice about white people is that they love first-class lifestyle.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It got to be perfect.
But dude, tell
know, I
me.
remember-
I mean, tell me the black people don't also. I mean,
Now they do because
I
they
mean,
try to imitate white people.
Well, there is some of that going on.
But I remember when I used to, whenever I fly, you earn these points on the
Right,
airline, and so you start getting these upgrades to first class without having to pay for them. And so I started getting these upgrades. I'm like, wow, this is how white people are doing it. And so I finally got this little silver or gold card or platinum, so you automatically get upgraded. And then now that I'm in first class, white people came up with another thing you got to work toward. I forgot what it called straight through or something. I'm like, when will you can't even keep up with them?
There's always something more.
Yeah,
and
they always create another level.
And that's the torture. There it
They
is.
had this level where when you go into the airport and you're going through the line, if you get that little check thing on your ticket, you don't have to take your shoes off and all that, right? But now they invented another line where, and Jay, if you remember that line?
I forget.
But you do know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Tell them about it. I don't know what it's called. Do you know, Mary?
You explained it pretty well. I mean,
Yeah. Well, they invented another line that's better than the check line, and I just got the check line. I'm like, let me get used to this one. But they got one now where if you sign up and you just go through and you put your eyes in the little thing, and they can tell who you are just by your eyes, and you go right onto the plane. And so now I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna get that. But I don't want my eyes to be checked in no radiation thing. You know, you look into it, and then they have that at my gym, at my ex-gym now, where they have this one room that's for supposed to be first-class people, but they create another room, you have to pay more. You can leave your clothes in the locker overnight, and they'll wash your clothes and fold them and put them back in your locker. Did you know about that, Ed?
I did.
Are you in that room?
No, I didn't want to pay extra because I thought, it felt very fussy leaving my clothes there. You know, what are you doing messing with my underwear? You know.
And they have lemonade in there.
weird.
I'm like, what's in that room? So they let me
But
go in and look.
anything in the world, you look at cars. I got myself a nice car. Oh, there's a better one.
Yeah.
No matter what car you have, there's a better car.
There's always something better.
Right? And in the world of business, computers, man, there's always somebody faster, better, smarter.
That's right.
So you have to be balanced about it. Realize
That's
it's
why
gonna
you want to
happen.
get off that train.
But man, that's a nice train.
But this train is better. Believe me.
I understand.
Yeah.
Inside it's better, but
Yeah.
on the outside it looks better. You know, the
Yeah.
velvet chairs and the
I
nice,
know. That other room is so nice at the gym. They got nice fresh lemonade. They have apples and oranges on the thing. All you do is go in there, take your clothes off, put them in the locker, and they wash them and put them back. And you don't need when you go to the door to go in, you just look in that thing and they open the door for you. I'm like, Lord have mercy.
Are these people in shape?
Well, they in shape with the finance, that's for sure. So let me just say this. So Ed, what is the definition of self-knowledge?
I like what I heard today. Right, non-judgmental awareness, or is it non-judgmental attention? Even better than awareness.
Yeah, you pay attention to what's going on, but do not have an opinion about it.
And it keeps you from getting messed up.
Yes.
I mean, that does, because you can get jealous.
That's right.
We were just talking about it. You get jealous of the next big thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But I want you guys-
But here's the other part. It also there's you know, when you have children, you deal with guilt a lot, and it helps you with that because there's, you know, when a child is
right.
failing, that's more painful
Yeah.
than somebody taking away your success.
That's right.
And it allows you to see that person, that child, in their own terms. And
That's right,
it's
man.
not a happy thing, but it is a peaceful thing. And
Yeah.
there's a difference between those two.
I noticed with my son, you're so right about that. I can see where he's suffering through stuff.
Oh my God.
And in the older days, I would have wanted to reach out to help, but now I can't. I watch him suffering, and he get better from the suffering. Whereas if I had intervened, it would have damaged him. He would not have grown from it.
But non-judgmental attention allows you to see
Yeah.
the things that are going on there.
That's
And-
right.
And so there is a lot of that I practice, but, you know, it's interesting.
Last word, Mark, real fast here. We out of time, right, James? Okay.
I know they're just words, but they helped me. Forrest said another way. I know you only like those words, state of non-judgmental attention. But he said, looking at yourself with no evaluation. And that brought me closer to what you were saying, which brought me closer to just really seeing. Like I said, I know they're just words. Maybe they'll
Yeah,
help
if it
some.
works for you, stay
Yeah.
with it. But you can judge yourself and still not evaluate yourself, right?
No,
You
that's
have an
what
opinion
that's why
about
it
it?
helped me.
Oh,
The
okay.
judgment is kind of after the evaluation. So before the judgment, it's looking at yourself with no evaluation.
Okay. Yeah, as long as you have no opinion about it at all.
Right.
So your assignment for this week, if you decide to take it, I want you to just, and not will it to be, all right? Don't will this to happen, but I want you to pay attention to you, to what the devil's telling you, to what you're feeling and thinking, when those insecurities come, the loneliness comes, the anger comes. I want you to just watch that without any opinion about it. Now, Satan is going to be trying to make you have an opinion. He's going to be talking to you and saying, this is bad, you're failing. This is that. That's not you, all right? So for 1 week only, can you try it for me? Just watch what happened with you without an opinion. Can you try that for me this week? I'm sorry? Yes. You will? And then make sure you do your prayer. Put God first. And putting him first is like what I told Brenda. Just simply pray, watch yourself. Don't go with your thoughts and feelings. And you're putting him first. It's just that simple. The ability to see is that's when you know you're back with the Father. He allows you to see, because in that is wisdom and understanding and peace and everything. All right? I really appreciate you guys coming, and thank you so much for tuning in, folks. What else? Oh, we need your support. Don't forget, this is the time of the year when people are donating and giving. Remember us, all right? You can go to our website, rebuildingtheman.com. You can call 800-411-BOND. I do want you to know you're not going to get better until you can die from the anger. You got to overcome that spirit of anger, and only God can cause you to overcome that, because it's a spirit. You just have to seek him, and all those things will come together for you. You cannot get over anything on your own. No drugs, no alcohol, until you drop the ego, until you die from that old nature, which is Satan's nature, all right? Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you all for coming too. I appreciate it. Martin, I had